Welcome to another deep dive, and today we're going to be talking all about sugar, but not the kind that, gives you a sugar rush. We're going to be talking about how scientists and food producers measure sugar content using this really cool tool called a digital refractometer, specifically the HI96801. Yeah, I know, refractometer.
It's a mouthful.
It sounds like something straight out of Star Trek, but stick with us, okay? We're going to break it all down. So you can impress your friends with, all your sugar smarts. I mean, imagine you're at, a meeting and everyone's like, how do they figure out the percentage of juice on a label? You're going to be the one who knows.
That's right. We're going to unpack this fascinating world using a mix of, marketing material and technical specs from Hanna Instruments, which is the company that makes this device.
And believe me, there is some seriously cool stuff buried in those specs. Okay, let's start with the basics. What exactly are we even talking about when we say Brix?
Brix is basically just a measure of how much sugar is in a solution. It's expressed as a percentage by weight. So if you have a juice, for example, that has 10% Brix, it just means that 10% of its weight comes from sugar.
Okay, that makes sense. So how does this fancy refractometer gadget actually measure that? Does it involve tiny scales and a lot of math?
It's actually much more elegant than that. It all comes down to the principle of refraction, which is, how light bends when it passes through different substances. Think about how a prism splits sunlight into a rainbow. That's refraction in action.
Oh, wow.
The HI96801 uses an LED light, a prism, and a sensor to measure how light bends through a sample. And that bending, believe it or not, directly relates to the sugar content.
Wow, so it's like harnessing the power of light to reveal hidden secrets about sugar. Okay, but is this device all hype? Or is it really as impressive as it sounds?
Well, let's look at the specifics. What I find fascinating here is the speed. The HI96801 can deliver results in just 1.5 seconds.
1.5 seconds. That's faster than I can even say refractometer. And from what I'm seeing in the features at a glance section, it only needs a tiny drop or two of the sample. No giant beakers involved.
Exactly. And that's a huge plus in a busy lab or production environment. But, speed isn't everything. Accuracy is critical. And that's where the automatic temperature compensation comes in.
Ah, yes, the specs mention that. Why is temperature such a big deal when it comes to measuring Brix?
Well, because temperature affects the density of a solution. Think about how water expands when it heats up. That change in density also affects how light bends through it, which could totally throw off the Brix reading. The HI96801 automatically adjusts for those temperature variations, so you can be sure you're getting an accurate measurement, regardless of the sample's temperature.
So it's basically got a built-in thermometer and a mini computer that does all the calculations for you.
Pretty much. It takes out all the guesswork.
Yeah.
And eliminates a potential source of error, which is, essential for reliable results.
Okay, I'm officially impressed. Let's say you actually have this device in your hands. The source, it actually walks us through creating a standard sugar solution. To test it out, it seems pretty precise. Weighing out exact amounts of pure sucrose, adding water to create a specific percentage solution. Could you imagine actually doing this at home? It's kind of fun to play food scientist for a day.
It would. And what's interesting is that this isn't just a fun experiment. This type of meticulous process, that's what ensures accuracy and consistency in the food industry.
Right. And speaking of the food industry, this whole Brix thing, it's not just about, making sure your soda's sweet enough. Yeah. The source mentioned something called the ICMSA methods book. What's that all about?
Well, that book, it outlines standardized methods for analyzing sugar in all sorts of food products. It's like the rule book, for making sure what you see on the label actually matches what's inside.
So our little refractometer, it's not just a gadget for candy makers. It's playing a role in ensuring quality and transparency in food production.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. That percentage of juice on your label, it's not just some random number. It's a sign that someone, somewhere, used a device like this to guarantee that the product meets specific standards.
That's pretty cool. It makes you realize how much science goes into something.
Yeah.
As simple as a bottle of juice. Okay, let's dive back into the nitty-gritty of the HI96801. The specs are packed with all sorts of interesting details. What else caught your eye?
Well, one thing that stands out to me is the measurement range. This device can handle Brix levels from 0 to 85%, meaning it can accurately measure everything from nearly sugar-free drinks to those really thick, concentrated syrups.
Wow, that's quite a spectrum. Talk about versatility. And speaking of accuracy, the specs say it's accurate to within plus or minus 0.2%. That's a tiny margin of error, isn't it?
It is, that level of precision. It's essential for, quality control and scientific research. It means you can really trust the readings you're getting. You know what else I find interesting?
What's that?
The spec sheet mentions that it uses a yellow LED light source.
Oh, yeah. I noticed that too. Any idea why yellow specifically? Is that just like a stylistic choice?
It's actually a lot more than that. I think it probably has to do with the way that different colors of light interact with the sample and the sensor. Certain wavelengths of light, They can be absorbed or scattered more than others. So choosing the right color, it helps optimize the accuracy of the measurement.
So it's about ensuring that the light passes through the sample in the most effective way to get the most accurate reading.
Clever. Okay, what about practicality? How long does the battery last on this thing? You wouldn't want to be in the middle of testing a batch of jam and have it die on you.
Right. Luckily, the specs say it can handle around 5,000 readings before you need a new battery.
5,000.
That's pretty impressive. You could take it out in the field for multiple measurement without having to worry about, constantly replacing the battery.
So it's not just accurate, it's built to last. No wonder food scientists rely on this thing.
And you know what else is cool? The HI96801. It has an IP65 water-resistant rating. Hold on, rewind. What does that even mean? Is it waterproof? Can I take it scuba diving with me?
Not quite scuba diving, but it does mean the device is well protected from dust and splashes of water, so you can be confident using it in like a busy production environment or out in the field, even if things get a little messy.
Okay, that makes sense. A little bit of spillage shouldn't ruin your day.
Yeah.
What about the user experience? Is this thing easy to use? Or do you need like a PhD to operate it?
It seems pretty user-friendly. The source mentions a dual-level LCD screen that displays both the measurement and the temperature simultaneously, so you can see all the essential information at a glance without having to navigate through like complicated menus.
That's a nice touch, so you get your results quickly. And clearly, what more could you ask for? Oh, wait, I know. Accessories. Resources section. It mentions a 50% Brix standard solution. And some electrode refilling pipettes. What are those for?
Those are all about maintenance and ensuring long-term accuracy. The standard solution is used for calibration, basically making sure the device is reading correctly. And then the pipettes. Those are for refilling the electrode, which is the part that actually comes into contact with the sample.
So it's like giving your device a little tune-up to keep it running smoothly. Smart. We started by talking about measuring sugar in food. But you mentioned earlier that refractometers, they have other applications as well.
Right. We've been focusing on food, but the applications of this technology, they go way beyond that.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me more. What else can you do with a refractometer?
Well, remember that at its core, a refractometer is measuring how light bends through a substance. And that principle, it can be applied to a vast array of liquids and solutions, not just those containing sugar.
Okay, give me some examples. I'm picturing all sorts of cool scenarios now.
For instance, in the automotive industry, refractometers are used to test the concentration of antifreeze and engine coolant.
Wow, so it helps keep our cars running smoothly in the winter. What else?
They're also used in the medical field to analyze blood serum and urine, providing, valuable diagnostic information.
Seriously, so this little device is helping doctors diagnose illnesses. That's incredible. Are there any other surprising applications?
Absolutely. They're used in gemology to identify gemstones, in brewing, to measure the specific gravity of beer, even in aquariums, to monitor water salinity.
Wow, that's a pretty diverse range. Who knew that something designed to measure sugar could have so many different uses?
It's all about, looking beyond the obvious and seeing the connections. That's what makes science so fascinating.
I completely agree. This deep dive has taken us from the sweetness of a juice box to the inner workings of car engines and the depths of the ocean. It's amazing how one simple principle can have such a wide-ranging impact.
And that's just scratching the surface.
Yeah,
there's always more to discover.
It really makes you appreciate the power of, scientific discovery and how something, seemingly simple can have such a profound impact on so many different fields.
It's a great reminder that knowledge is interconnected. The more we explore one area, the more we realize how it connects to everything else.
So true. We started by talking about sugar, and we ended up exploring everything, from car engines to gemstones to the human body. It's been quite a journey.
It has. And, I think it highlights the importance of curiosity. If we never ask why or how, we miss out on all these amazing connections and the opportunity to learn something new.
Absolutely. Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive, into the world of Brix and refractometers, I'd love for you to leave our listeners with a final, thought-provoking question, something to really spark their curiosity, and encourage them to keep exploring.
All right. Here's something to ponder. We've seen how the bending of light, this seemingly simple phenomenon, can reveal so much about solutions, like their sugar content, or the concentration of antifreeze in a car engine. But what other invisible properties of our world might we be able to see if we had the right tools? What other secrets are out there, just waiting to be unlocked if we just learn to look at things in a different way?
That's a fantastic question. It really makes you think about, the limits of our perception.
Yeah.
And the incredible potential of scientific exploration.
Exactly. There's a whole universe of phenomena out there that exists beyond what we can see or hear or touch. And it's up to us to develop the tools and the curiosity to unravel those mysteries.
Well said. So, to our listeners, we encourage you to stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop asking questions. Who knows what incredible discoveries await you just around the corner?
And we'll be back soon with more deep dives into fascinating topics, ready to, unravel more of these complex ideas and spark your imagination. Until next time.
Happy exploring.